It's Central African time, 7:30 Central African time, I would rather say. Welcome to the top tier Breakaway League Racing. My name is Bob O'Connor. I will be with you here on commentary for another installment of the best of the very best of this Breakaway Racing League. Thank you so much for choosing this league here tonight. It's a diminished field competing, 10 drivers, therefore 10 drivers well within the points. It's a golden opportunity for all these drivers to claim points here today, and especially, of course, those that are currently situated towards the rear or the bottom of this top tier. Letty T, golden opportunity for him. He just missed out on the points last time around, but of course, now with just 10 drivers in the field, and especially if the field does not extend too dramatically between now and the end of Q3, this is a golden opportunity for Liddy to show his mettle, show his worth, and claim a decent points haul. What about Mandla, a.k.a. Romeo? Well, it's a good day for him as we brace for Q1 in sunny conditions. And as we welcome the sun, we say sunny Bonani. It's Zandvoort. It's the Netherlands. Of course, I'm joined also by Bratox here in commentary.
It's all done.
Yes, it's good. Having a great time over here. Bratox, I'm not exactly sure what you're expecting points-wise or results-wise.
Maybe confidence podium, maybe also tell any podium, or maybe not September. I'm a challenge you see. No brown boy, of course, brown boy.
Yes, do not forget brown boy, indeed. We also have a special guest here today, being in Zandvoort. His name is Kees van Dongen. Ja, ik ben Kees van Dongen, dus ja, kijk, welkom bij Zandvoort. Dus ik ben op zoek naar Max Verstappen. Ik zie hem niet, maar iedereen, dus ja, het gaat wel goed. Gewoon goed weer misschien, dus het gaat goed wel. Well, thank you. I believe Kees van Dongen is just welcome everybody. He's looking forward to some good performances. He does not see Max Verstappen here around. He's looking for, of course, his countrymen. Perhaps, well, he will be seen supporting these top-tier drivers. But this being the top-tier breakaway, we're expecting nothing but good things. Tapiso is here, as is his teammate, Seppo Temba, a double representation of Ferrari. Hopefully that bodes well as far as their points prospects are concerned here today. Thank you for joining us. It's always good to see all of you viewers join as the clock ticks on and the session rolls on from qualification to the 36 laps of racing that we have here today. And with the diminished field, Tapiso was one of the first out on track as he spin towards this third route at the beginning of the third sector, and Cicle does not look like he's going to be passing the Ferrari driver. So let's see how it'll fare. And right now we will just hop on board, of course, with the Tapiso to make sure that we're live with the Ferrari driver as they're about to begin their hot lap. Here we go. Tapiso in sector 1, no issues through the first couple of corners. He banks on this slow-ish left-hander and points that Ferrari straight down this slaloming section. Of course, you have to get your line inch perfect out here in Zandvoort. Some of the curves are quite generous as far as the bumpiness, thus increasing the risk if you go too hard onto those certain curves. Watch out particularly for the curve towards the final corner, which banks towards the right. But right now, it's sector 2. It's Tapiso. It's Ferrari. He'll be the first to set a time and will, of course, lay down the early gauntlet. Behind him is the likes of Cicle and his teammate, Seppo Temba, who's also begun his hot lap attempt. So it's only Q1. All these drivers need to do is just see it safely through to the next qualification to the next quali segment, so that being Q2 and Q3, and that is when the battle in prospect begins. Tapiso points the Ferrari straight down the main straight. It's a 1:14.5 for him. What about Cicle? He goes quicker, significantly, 1:11.9. Seppo Temba tucks behind the Haas to set a 1:13.5. So the early gauntlet by some distance is that 1:11.983. There's an AlphaTauri of Romeo on the verge of crossing the line. He sets a 1:13.5, and Zotail will respond in turn with a 1:12. What about Esbuda? P5, 1:13.5 for the Williams driver. Kaboza somewhere in South Africa supporting his Williams teammate as Buddha in the Williams. Let's see how he will fare. Brown Boy is on the verge of beginning a hot lap, so we're going to catch up with him a little bit later on his hot lap attempt. You can expect most of these drivers, even Tepiso, who's currently running the slowest, to come back into the pits. Oh, there's an AlphaTauri, that being Mandla. Was he on a second hot lap attempt? Well, if he was, he came carrying so much speed, did Mandla, went over the curves and invalidated if he was looking to improve there. So he would not have been impressed with the positioning of that Ferrari, that being Tepiso's a Ferrari. Now, what about Letty? He's on his initial hot lap attempt. He's just crossed that start-finish line, and we're going to catch up with him before we hop on board with Brown Boy. But, in fact, as I say that, Brown Boy's way further ahead, and Brown Boy has hit the wall in Sector 2. Slowing down as the slow-moving as Buddha makes his way past, so Brown Boy, lucky not to have pretty much trashed his car and brought it back into the pits in an unworking condition. So Brown Boy is breathing a sigh of relief, but that Red Bull team will have a lot of work in its hands to get that car back in working order. Meanwhile, Letty is on his initial banker lap attempt. 12.5 minutes of this qualifying session to go. Let's go on board now with the McLaren driver. He opens up that rear wing on this DRS, slow DRS straight in Sector 2 to take the right-hander. He hits the apex without incident, goes slightly wide out of the exit of this left-hander, and points that McLaren straight down towards the final corners. This is that also treacherous curve. Letty touches it. Perhaps that has hardened his mouth for a second there, but no issues as far as spinning out. He is still on track. He is still on the verge of setting his banker lap, which will be P7 with a 114.951. What about his teammate, Ban Kobe? Still sitting snug in the pits. No movement yet for the likes of Ban Kobe to set that banker lap. So we'll see exactly how he will fare. It looks like Tepiso's definitely on a slow lap, making his way back to the pits here. He's not in any sort of a rush. So instead, we will take a peek and see how Malusi the Malusi is faring. A man who's unfortunately missed so many races because of the unfortunate load shedding. But right now, as it stands, he had gone off track on his out lap. Track map showing red, thus invalidating his out lap. So he just knows he just needs to nurse that car, bring it back across the start-finish line, and then we'll see what kind of times he has in his pocket. Malusi the Malusi going really slowly here on the final corner. Not sure if he's really warming the tires up or if he's just going to bring that car back home. Yeah, moving really slowly. So we're going to have to just watch out for him and see how he fares from here on out. Malusi the Malusi brings that car back home as Liddy follows suit. He's back in the pits. And the only man out on track right now is Ban Kobe, Liddy's teammate in the McLaren. Had a topsy-turvy season. He hasn't spent so much time in the simulator as previous years, but Ban Kobe has one thing in mind, that is to consolidate his position here in the top tier. Golden opportunity with such a reduced field. Loveness should be getting seen out in the paddock pretty soon. Ban Kobe goes quite heavy on the curve here, but he manages to keep it together and points that McLaren out of the banking left onto this section of corners as he hurdles down towards the start of Sector 2. What will that split be? It's a 25.5 at the end of Sector 1. He eases off the throttle there through the right-hander and goes slightly over the curves there. How many tenths will that cost him, having eased off there? Perhaps he was a little bit afraid of losing his car there, but he keeps it together through this sequence of corners, carrying a fair degree of speed. Third gear to the left-hander. That corner was also treacherous. Watch out for it later on in the qualifying section. It's Ban Kobe through the DRS sector, and now on to the chicane, but he manages to keep it together. Sector 3, he's got to, of course, keep a close eye on this final corner. Ban Kobe, no issue, slightly wide of the apex, but keeps it together. It is his first banker lap. Will it be able to challenge? Not necessarily top runners. He might just be middle of the pack. Hey, P3, look at that, 113.2 for Ban Kobe. Places him P3 in this first qualifying session. I'm joined by none other than Superstar Tier 2 driver Tindo, who's been, who's no stranger to lighting up the timesheets by himself. Tindo, not bad by Kobe.
Hey, not bad, not bad. Sanbonan, it's been long. We managed to deal with the black powders I was receiving in the letters after so much commentary. So, but now we're doing good. It's been a frustrating season, I guess, for most of us in Tier 2.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to keep on going and keep on scoring points.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we're looking forward to see how these guys will fare. Right now, we're on board with Brown Boy, who damaged his wing and had to come in on the first attempt. His second attempt is not that quick. It's a 1:16.5 for Brown Boy. Still feeling his way around things here. Perhaps he's not hasn't spent too much time in the simulator practicing for this track. Tindo, you raced here. What is it about Zandvoort that catches drivers out?
It's a tricky track, eh? Once you hit the curves, you're out. You need to be cautious with how you approach the corners too. And I literally did span yesterday, I think twice if I'm not mistaken. And I think Ulona Foot saw 86 that they couldn't even race because and so it's a very, very tricky race. You need to be good with the throttled one. And your setup as well, you need to have at least, maybe if you can have maybe a bit high of the rear wing as well to help you, because once you don't have that, you're gonna struggle. You might have straight line speed, but on the corners though you lose a lot of time because you always want to be cautious. So it's a very tricky race.
A lot for them to be paying attention to. Brown Boy seems to be coming back. There's no need for him to risk a potential DNF here. Meanwhile, Malusi the Malusi, we haven't seen him too much this season. Let's catch up with him. He looks to be going quite quick. Gets a 50.0 split at the end of Sector 2 and is now hurtling towards that final sequence of corners. The penultimate corner, he takes a well incident. He lifts off the throttle quite heavily there. I suppose it's necessary, and that is one of the dangerous curves that you spoke about. Tindo, is it pretty much being selective on which curves that you touch as Malusi goes P2 with that 112.3, or is it just for safety's sake avoiding all the curves?
Not all the curves necessary though, but especially the last corner, you see that curve on the last corner, and also the curve. I will show you. It's right in the end of Sector 2.
Yeah.
Sector 2 as well. Those are very, very tricky ones as well. And then there's 110, and the last one as well. The last one, if you go on that curve, you're definitely turning. If you go then on the left one, not the right one, but the left one. So even if you're on the curves as well, it's your throttle. You mustn't press it hard, because if you press it hard, it's like these curves are very aggressive now, and they respond. So you end up spinning or lose a lot of time. Zotal, that's retired.
Perhaps he's just happy with that 112, and seeing as though it's quite few drivers, he's just gonna just retire in the pits and just wait for the clock to tick down. 5.5 minutes of the Q1 to go. All these drivers need do is just to bring the cars home without incident, and that is pretty much that. So no need for these drivers to take unnecessary risks and DNF out on track. And it looks like Loveness, who was the latest setting time, has he set a slow-moving 122.6, and right now is moving slowly back, bringing that Alfa Romeo back to the pit lane with 5 minutes of the session to go. Perhaps Zotal will lead a chain reaction of retirement in the pits, and as I say that, Tepiso also follows suit. With the 5 minutes of the session to go, we can just perhaps expect some of these drivers to retire early in the pits and not risk crashing these cars out and thus losing their place in Q2. Of course, with just 11 drivers out on the field, that means that Q2 will be a battle to eliminate one of these drivers. Will it be Loveness or Brown Boy or Liddy or Tepiso as Buddha? Well, time will tell. And here comes Loveness now back into the pits. And by now, 4 of the drivers have opted to retire just to keep this clock ticking on and keep things moving towards the end of Q1. Seekley tops the time sheets, the only man in the 111s, 111.9. Malusi the Malusi with 112.3. And Zotal, 112.603. Ban Kobe, P4, currently with that 113.202. Romeo Mandla, P5. Sepultemba, P6. Espuda, currently sitting 7th, Cepiso 8th, Liddy 9th, Brown Boy rounds off the top 10, and of course, Loveness has set his banker lap, and the Alfa Romeo pit crew tucks him snugly into the garage there as we wait for this P1 session to roll on along. Now, Sequay, the only man of the 111s, will we see more Tindo? And what do you expect
maybe 111.5 or 4. There's no way he can do 110. Yeah, he'll be. You shouldn't be. If he does 110, then he shouldn't rest with us, because there's no way you can be. You can be 2 seconds faster. Because the guys, you might find a 111 here and there, but yeah, I feel like he might do 111.1, because I did 111.4, and Sitle is quick, so I guess maybe he can. Hey, 110, 110
that'll
is a
be
bit tricky.
That'll be very
insane.
shocking to see, even for Sequay.
Yeah, that would be that would be insane. That would be very insane. Like, I don't think if he can do 110, I don't think he should be in our league. He should be competing in the esport guys. Because there's no flipping way. But let's see. Sitle is Sitle. He's full of surprises. And you never know. Maybe this one is just for him to get going, to just set a time so he can be on top. And he still has a lot to prove. He still has a lot to show as well. So yeah, let's just wait and see how it goes, what he's gonna do on Q2 and Q3.
Definitely one to watch. Even Loveness is here. One of his best finishes thus far this season, I think, was that P7 back in Singapore. He has a golden opportunity to claim some decent points here, as of course does the likes of Luda and Buddha, who are currently looking to fight their way out of that bottom 10.
True.
And
Buddha is struggling. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know whether it's the game or it's just he's just not mentally ready, or he's not mentally into this season, because he's really struggling. You barely see Buddha struggle. So I guess maybe it's a new game. It's just to get used to it. And then let's see, because Mandla is adapting very well. Hey, he's going. He said no play.
Yeah. Mandla has vowed, Romeo Mandla, he said, I will not take part in the playoffs again. He has been part of a stressful playoff run for consecutive seasons, and he does not want any more of that. So let's see if he can keep his string of points finishes together. Mandla, he finished 4 races consecutively, finishing P9 from Monaco all the way through to Baku. And his best result of the season thus far was the P6 that he managed in Brazil. Wow. Mandla looking good. Mandla, he's slowly collecting the points, and especially since he manages to, of course, finish the race.
I think it's actually that's the only way to survive this league. As much as you just score points every race. Regardless of what, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. There's one day that's gonna be good for you. That's just gonna boost those 4 points we have. Where maybe just gonna be a safety car in the end, or someone crashes who's in front, and then you find yourself in podium. That's like 25, and then you are clear above there. I feel like that's what Buddha needs as well. In a way, he just needs 2 good races. Once he has 2 good races, he's out of the trouble he's in right now. And he just needs to keep it together and cut out some of the mistakes. We've been on board with him sometimes when he either spun or had crashes. So if you can just keep it together and collect those points, as you say, then consistency is pretty much the way that can be your saving grace. That's your top 10. Sequay tops the timesheets. The quickest man by far, 111.9. Malusi the Malusi, P2 from Zoltal. And then Ban Kobe in P4. Romeo is 5th at the end of Q1. Tepo Temba 6th. That's Buddha 7th. Sepiso 8th. Liddy 9th. Brown Boy 10th. And Loveness rounds off the 11th spot. Caravo Sabanda. Will be interesting to see the times compared to Tier 2. Absolutely. Tindo, could you just remind us of the pole setting time? I mean, Williams were you guys were doing fantastic there. I think it was 111 point. I think I did 111.485, and then I think Smart Django did 111.3, if I'm not mistaken. And also to answer on Carabo, what he's saying, it will be interesting to see the times compared to Tier 2. Yeah, the advantage that Tier 1 has, is they can still change up their setups. Tina, we only have one goal. Tier 2 only have one goal. Once you set up, it's in, it's in.
Yeah.
You can't change anything after that. You're going, that's your setup for the rest as well. So I think Tier 1, they have an advantage. We should see better times than, Tier 2. But because if Tier 2 had the privilege to change setups, I think we would see much quicker times as well. We would see even above 110 as well, or with the guys who won. Because now the thing is, once you start to one setup, sometimes you make a mistake, maybe you forget to change a certain aspect, or maybe your aerodynamics or your wings and stuff like that. And then you realize later, and then you're like, oh, flip, it's gone, because you're already on the race.
Yeah. Bit of an unsafe release there from AlphaTauri, almost colliding with Malusi the Malusi as they released them from the pits there. Good evening, Glenn Carson. It's good to see you in the comment section. Hello, Kid K. Hello, Escalo.
Wandile. Uthatha uyaphetha ukuthi uzothile uzospina kangakanani. Uzothile ngani? Uthi i-PM mara then akusi i-PM amazi wayispina kanje.
The driver PM engine, there'll be the M2.
Hopefully Zotal keeps it together and does not spin and finds himself back on the podium. Of course, finishing so high up is so great for his confidence. Tindo, just tell us psychologically, especially if you've been struggling and you manage somehow to put together a decent race, what that does for you in terms of your confidence, if it does anything for you at all, or is it always so, treacherous here that your previous race doesn't really matter?
No, it's it's everywhere. It's more like even if you do something good at work, and you get that boost in you. Like, okay, I want to keep on going. You feel like you want to keep on racing and racing and racing.
Yeah.
Because once you score a 1-2 podium, you still want to keep on going because that you still have that moment. Like saying, okay, I think I'm doing good. And yeah. So for Zota, even if you can laugh about Zota or spinning, but if you take a close look, Zota has been consistent. As much as he can spin 7-8 times, it's only that he's the light. Everyone is always Zota, but Zota has been scoring points. And I think last race he was on podium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he was. He did finish on the podium. Right now, we're watching Loveness's hot lap attempt. We'll catch up with how Zotal fares here towards the end of Q2. Looks like Loveness had a bit of a snap there with the rear end, but he managed to keep it together. Ooh, another snap as he comes into the DRS section. Everybody pretty much on a hot lap now. Mandla has fun as Tindo rightfully notes. Mandla, I think, was slightly ahead of Loveness. Did he spin at the final corner? Because this is the one
it's not the final corner. The corner I was telling you about, that is tricky. If
in
you
sector
go hard
2.
on that throttle, if you go on that throttle, you definitely spin. I think he was pushing it, Mandla.
Sequence at 111.5 and Loveness improved significantly. 113.1. It's an improvement, of course, from his Q1 attempt. Brown Boy has crossed the line with a 112.8. Here comes Buddha, or rather Zotal. He crosses the line and tucks right behind Seaclay. And the AlphaTauri of Mandla is probably going to give it another go. One of the McLarens is on the verge. It is Liddy who goes P6, 114.4. And the Ferrari of Seppo Temba tucks right behind Zotal and in front of Brown Boy as Tapiso follows suit for P6, 113.1. As Buddha has just crossed the line for P7. And next in line is Van Kobe, who seems... Romeo spun again.
That's fun again, yeah.
And Van Kobe, who seems to have lost it and invalidated his lap towards the end of Sector 3. Will he come in? No, he will carry on. Van Kobe will carry on. So we'll catch up with him and see whether or not he keeps it together.
I don't know if it's a glitch. That makes it is just stuck on one position if you look at it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, Mello disconnected from the session. It says he's in the pit from our view, but at the same time, his car is stuck in Sector 2, I believe. Towards the end of Sector 1, rather. So hopefully he comes back into the pit and that can get sorted. There's yellow flags out, presumably for that immobile Mercedes. So maybe he'll manage to get it back together and keep it going. But is Seppo Temba attempting to improve? No, it looks like he's coming back into the pits here as he brings that Ferrari home without incident. Luddy is doing exactly the same, and Van Kobe seems to be warming up those tires to potentially give it one more shot. As Buddha is back in the pits, as is Loveness. But what about Romeo? He had a bit of a moment earlier on, but might be giving it a proper go and to set a proper banker lap to secure his spot in the top 10 shootout. One of these drivers will be getting knocked out at the end of this Q2 session. Here comes Mandela. He's just come past the banking section. And are those raindrops I'm seeing from this perspective? Yes, it looks
like it is. I was about to say, I so wish it would rain on this track today.
Wouldn't that make things interesting on such a challenging track to be dealing?
Definitely make things interesting, trust me.
Especially if it's a rainy Q3 even before the race. So that would make things very, very dramatic indeed. Malusi will hope to regain connection. He's got 9 minutes to do so as we watch Romeo, who's improved by a factor of 5 seconds. Coming through the chicane, he takes the right-hander without incident and goes carefully through the left. More and more raindrops are falling. There's a yellow flag on this portion of the track. Did someone perhaps spin ahead of Romeo? We do not see anything of the sort. Let's see if you can manage to keep it together. That red light is flashing. This is an opportunity, but Romeo is abandoning that attempt and bringing that AlphaTauri back home.
Romeo ran out of fuel.
Ran out of fuel, having, of course, he's bringing that car back home. What about Tapiso? He does not look to be moving quite fast. He's also bringing that car back home. Van Kobe is finally on a proper hot lap attempt, but he's lost so much battery power, having stayed out on track so long. His red light is flashing. How much will that cost Van Kobe? Goes wide to the apex on the right-hander. Is the track getting slipperier perhaps? Well, the raindrops are falling, but it is not quite a slick track as far as wetness, or rather moisture, is concerned. Goes quite heavy on the curb on the left-hander, but he keeps it together. No validation for the McLaren driver. He just needs to set a decent banker lap and bring it back home. Van Kobe will cross the line 115.0 as the raindrops fall. Romeo, I have a feeling, will come out as, of course, when Malusi. DRS has been disabled, hampering, of course, the likes of Van Kobe, Romeo, Malusi, and Luddy. Perhaps even as Buddha, who could be seen as at risk here. So, yeah, it's not looking too rosy for these guys to really challenge the guys that are ahead of them on the timing sheet. So it's pressure on the two McLaren drivers and the Williams of F. Buddha. Malusi still disconnected as his car remains, if you will, remains stuck out on track. And by now, Tindo, it's definitely looking like it's it's getting quite slippery out there for the drivers.
Yeah, it's definitely doing that. It's definitely getting slippery. I don't know which. Well, it's Ngobi will stay on track. Hopefully, he doesn't DNF that car. He must not speed, because if he DNF that car, then that's it for him.
Pretty much. And Romeo has opted to retire in the pits. I don't know if Malusi is going to be able to come back here.
I was about to say the same thing as well. Hopefully, Malusi can come back. If he comes back, Romeo might be in trouble with that time as well. But I think with the rain as well, the track might be a bit slow. So, yeah.
If it's a dry Q3, the likes of Smirch Django and Smirch Django and I believe one more person predicted a 110 as possible. And Escalo said Cicle in the comments yesterday said that he expected Django to set a time of the 110, so perhaps we'll see Cicle do exactly that. Look at that, the raindrops well and truly falling here. Thunder clouds well and truly gathered as the McLaren crew make sure they put Van Kobe's car nice and snugly into the garage. The only man out on track right now is Zotal. He's fitted a set of intermediate tires, and as he comes out on track, perhaps this is a sign that he, and indeed Team Alpine, might be expecting, if not a rainy Q3, then perhaps rain at some point of the race. Malusi is back, which means, of course, hopefully we can expect to see him set a hot lap here. He's got 5.5 minutes to do so. but he's going to have to do so on a set of intermediate tires. And will that hot lap be quick enough to challenge Romeo? Tindo, if it stays like this and not to full wet tire conditions, do you expect Malusi to set a time quicker than that 121 of Romeo's?
Nah, I don't think so. Hey, you never know. Miles has been disqualified.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But it took them too long to see that because that guy has been there for
a while.
Time.
Yeah. While.
Yeah, but I feel like there's also something I wanted to mention. I feel like a tier 2, and they actually have better attendance. Like when it comes to racing.
Yeah.
And as much as tier 1, it's nice to see the races and stuff. But the tier 1, as soon as they have 10, they don't care whether you are there. They go forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I must say, also in terms of competitiveness all over the track, and in terms of potential race winners, Tier 2 has been a bit more interesting and unpredictable in that sense. So it's been quite enjoyable to watch. Welcome, Hispano, to the comment section. Hello, Dini. It's always good to see you. And we see Tapiso's also sitting snug and comfortable in the paddock there as we hop on board with the Zotal. I'm not sure where the name Benson comes from. Everybody referring to Zotal as Benson. I'm not sure what that means here, as he's the only man navigating currently on those intermediate tires, perhaps giving us a sign of how Q3 or indeed the race will pan out. Zotal is making his way through Sector 3. We do not expect him to improve on his 112, but of course this will be a golden opportunity for Zotal to set that decent, or to get a feel of what it will be like on inters. Here comes Zotal to cross the line, 121.4. So if Malusi was able to keep his car on track, then he would have been watching Zotal's 121.4 quite carefully. My mic is acting up. Tindo, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right.
I think it's Dini who has a problem with their speaker. Is she using a TV speakers or what? Maybe she's using those TVs with them covers, They have a makokoroji, so it tumbles with the end.
Tindo never misses an opportunity to roast anybody, including Didi in the comment section. But hopefully the sound and the audio can be audible now. Please let me know if it's still crackling, and I will do what is necessary to perhaps reset my headset and make sure that everything is just in fine working order. We're now on board with Sikle, the champion. Kaboza mentioning in the comments that he's quite sad to be missing out on what is his favorite track. Let's see how Sikle handles himself on this final sector. Now he goes fairly unscathed through that final chicane. Now it is the final sequence of corners, the penultimate corner, no issue there with the curbs, and the final corner, he is almost full throttle. Yes, here comes Sikle to cross the line, 119.7. Interestingly, Zotal set a 121.4 on his interlap, so very, very interesting. Perhaps they're just going to keep going here, Tindo.
Yeah, it looks like that they're just going to keep on going as well. That's actually there's some lap time there,
Yeah, so Sikle currently the only man out on track. Dini, it's going to be fantastic to see you dive into the paddock and, show us your medal. I think it'll be fantastic. If indeed the rumors are true that Dini will soon be racing in Tier 3 of Brakeaway Racing League, wouldn't that be fantastic? Mispano as well, I understand, has been tremendously hard yards in training, and Mispano will just surprise everybody in the friendly lobby, or so says the rumor mill. Meanwhile, Sikle is giving it another go with about 1 minute of his qualifying session to go, as we hear the background of cutlery and crockery.
Tindo, stay playing, Tindo. Nihlani lapho, Tindo. Ingathi yaziwa lapho, nihlani.
Kudingani la idla isigwaqani nje la.
Okay. Ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe ubuyigwinya ne-pocket knife nana or something like that. Ngoba yazi lapho nifensi vele.
Igwinya ne-pocket knife like
Yeah, ngiyazi ukuthi nifensi lapho edini.
Kanti uMiss Bono uza nini for i-racing? Kade semlendile uMiss Bono kuthiwa Miss Bono kanti Hey, mhlambe if edinga i-donation nje singamdonethela nje siyahlanganisa imali kwi-breakaway from tier 1 to tier 3 simthenge le PS5 nje nyana nje.
I support that absolutely. Dini was just nudging you guys to take part in this oh so interesting racing league. Brown Boy is going to be the last to attempt to getting feel of the Zandvoort circuit on a set of intermediate tires. Let's see how it goes. Liddy and Van Colby have opted to stay put and secure their spot in the top 10 shootout. Romeo, of course, will also be taking part, having retired after setting his banker lap. Lucy will be kicking himself, not getting an opportunity to set his time, and give the likes of Sequay, Gotown, Temple, Temba a lot to think about. Here comes Brown Boy right now towards Sector 2. We're going to see what kind of a time he can put together. And let's see. Oh, goes a little bit wide, but manages to hold on there and not invalidate his time. Brown Boy for Red Bull, flying those royal blue colors as high as possible. His teammate Lungs, of course, not represented out here in the Netherlands, and has a little bit of a snap, but keeps it together. Mindful of the curve. He hits the curve and almost spins completely, but Brown Boy coming through unscathed. He's not going to point that car towards down the main straight, as of course Sequay will start, will make his way through to Q3, as will Zotal, Tepotemba, Brown Boy, Loveness, Tepiso, Esbuda, Liddy, Bankobi, and Romeo. Brown Boy, of course, getting a feel for that, almost spinning out on that final corner, and it'll be P4 for Brown Boy and Red Bull, having set that time in at 112.8 on soft tires, and all of the times which qualified through to Q3 were set, of course, on those slick soft tires. Romeo being the last to make his way through. Fantastic stuff. We will see how these top 10 drivers pan out. Well, Sequay, we expect to be there and thereabouts. Who do you reckon will be challenging Sequay for pole position? Can it be Zotal or Tepo Tamba or Brown Boy? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments as to who exactly will be challenging the Haas driver in Q3.
kukhala ama-plate lapha kabothinto nje eish yabona la ma-plate a-expensive ya eyi nama-tupperware khala ama-tupperware khala ama-plate kuyadliwa lapha kabothinto hey kumnandi mani kumnandi.
Yes, Commandy indeed. Not exactly sure if it's a feast of 7 colors, as is so common in South Africa on certain weekends, or if it's a simple midweek meal there at Casa de Tindo. But of course, right now we are going to feast on some fantastic racing. But before that, some fantastic qualifying. It's the third and final qualifier, and it is raining and pouring this time around.
This
full
time is
wet tire conditions, Tindo, quite likely.
Wow. Let's see. But I feel like Brown Boy is very strong in the rain. But I have a good feeling about him. I don't know why, but I feel like, as I saw his time, the one he did the previous time, the previous lap we just watched now, he actually if he didn't spin in the end, he was going to be, I think, neck to neck with Ubrasif.
Yep, that would be quite something. The team strategies are suggesting intermediate tires still.
I know.
Even though from that angle,
it's too weight. Looks like it's too weight though.
Hell, look at those puddles, Tindo.
Looks like it's too weight. They're gonna span. Whoever is on the intermediates, they are definitely spanning.
As it stands, it looks like all the teams are giving the directive, to stay on the inters.
Wow. Let's see. Maybe Bella is there more in the game, in the car, so they know. But I feel like it's for wet though. The track is too wet.
Yeah, so many of those puddles that these drivers are going to have to stay clear of and avoid, lest, of course, those tires lose grip and they start aquaplaning. Tindo, just tell us a little about driving in the wet. And that balance of trying, of course, to get a semblance of tire, I suppose, what little temperature and grip you can get versus, cooling your tires down whenever necessary.
Hey, it's someone just spun. There's a McLaren just spun. It was Ludi T.
Ludi.
Yeah. No,
Let me-
it's driving in the rain. It's tricky. I don't lie to you. I mean, I struggle, but it's very tricky because you can't press the same way that you press when you are on a dry track, and your gears as well. If you're on the manual as well, they are totally different. You can't use the same change down you do. Maybe some corners you take on number 5. You can't use number 5 because you need more energy on the corner. You still need more energy, but at the same time you can't press it too hard because you will spin.
yeah.
So it's just too tricky, in the rain. It's way too tricky.
And right now, as you say that about the need to be careful, we're watching Zotal. We're on board with Zotal, who will be among the first to set a time here, and really easy on the throttle there. If you look on the telemetry, he's definitely not sending it and going pedal to the metal. He comes through that right-hander in gear 3, and he manages to keep it together. And he's quite circumspect here. So easy on the throttle to this left-hander. And what would have been a DRS section in the dry, of course, is just a fairly short straight before this right-hander. His Sector 2 split is a 59.2. So as this session goes on, we'll get a sense of what the quicker and the quickest splits are. Meanwhile, behind Zotal is Cicle, who will also set his initial banker lap, and we'll get a sense of what that is like. But here comes Zotal. He's gonna lay down the early marker. It's a 24.5 for the Alpine driver. What about Cicle? Crosses the line, 22.2. Significantly quicker. There's a McLaren on the verge. It's Liddy. Will he be quick enough here, Liddy? Is it Liddy? No. Liddy, he still needs to stay in line because he might have invalidated last time out. Seppo Temba, meanwhile, has crossed the line for P2, 2 seconds behind the Haas driver. No answers for Cicle. S. Buddha tucks in with a 124.4, knocking Zotal down to P4. Mandla is in P6. Brown Boy just crossed the line to set a time, 125.4. It's P5 for the Red Bull driver. Loveness is on the verge. He's making his way around the final corner. Let's hop on board with him now. His Sector 2 split was in the 58. What'll it be when he crosses the line? It's a 24.6. P5 sneaks right ahead of Brown Boy in that Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, to Piso, what can he do? There's a slow-moving McLaren on the track. It might have been Van Kobe, who might have abandoned his trap. To Piso crosses the line, 130.8, significantly slower than the rest of the pack here. Liddy, Piso, and even Romeo to a decent extent. Perhaps even Brown Boy need to put something decent together. And in these conditions, do you expect them to stay out on track instead of coming back into the pits?
I feel like the track is too wet. That's why you see even Citle, he did 119 earlier, remember?
Yeah.
And the track was actually a bit wetter, but now it's getting slower. If they go on wets, they're going to be faster. They'll actually be quicker. I feel like that because the track is way too wet.
Yeah, way too wet at the moment, and perhaps they're just going to need to do some consecutive laps to try and get those times down and make sure, of course, that they have fueled enough. Van Kobe is in the 128. Looks like Brown Boy's on the verge of crossing the line again. Will he improve? Yes, 123.1 for the Red Bull driver. Significant improvement for Brown Boy. Liddy, what about him? What can he do? No, it's back to the pits for the other McLaren driver. Is Esbuda on the verge? Crossing the line once again? No. The Williams driver is bringing it back home to the pits. What about Loveness? Is he giving it another go? Well, it definitely looks like it. He will cross the line. He still needs to find so much more time. He's moving slower there. Perhaps just biding his time, and as well as his tire temperatures. Oh, has a snap coming out of turn 1. Oh my goodness. He's going to have to make up a lot of time. There will be Alfa Romeo driver. Meanwhile, Cicle is still out on track. We're going to stay on board with Loveness, Tindo, but maybe you can let us know how Cicle is faring and if his split were looking good. Because, Loveness loses it. He loses Loveness. Oh, we're hoping perhaps to see whether or not that shot was going to send him into the walls, but it didn't. We weren't hoping for him to crash. I want to make that clear. He didn't crash, but he did lift off. Cicle didn't look to have improved. He looks to be going once again is the Haas driver. So Loveness has to relent and give it another go.
I think Cicle is being clever. He's driving it like I don't know. I don't know whether to warm up his tires you know, because they are caught. Because most of the guys have done 1 lap or 2 laps. He's keep on going because he's warming up his tires and also he's building momentum. Where he made mistakes, he's correcting it. You know, as you can see, he was quicker as on second sector just now. And let's see what I feel like this lap here he might improve from the previous time because he keeps on. He put a little bit more fuel and then keeps on going and going until you get it right. Second sector is quick as well. You will see at the end of this track.
All right, we will see by the end of this lap. We're watching a McLaren make way. Meanwhile, for Romeo, a.k.a. Mandla, as a yellow flag comes out, I think slightly way behind where Mandla is, so he need not worry about that. Seaflay's on the verge of crossing the line. Will he improve on his quickest time? Yes, he will. Did 121.6. Puts daylight between himself and Brown Boy, currently sitting at P2. Mandla
playing mind games with them.
Seaflay stayed out on track, yep, and he's managed to put on enough fuel to warm up those tires, as Tindo said, and the more he goes, the better his prospects seem to get. Mandla, what can he do as he crosses the line here? He improves. It's a potential second row for the Alpha Tower driver, P3, 123.5. A fantastic effort there by Mandla. Looks like Brown Boy is on the verge, but he comes back into the pit.
I think Usifle is just doing what they did in was it Singapore, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, Singapore. When the track was wet, right? When they did the qualifying, the Q3.
That was a race when I was away. I can't recall.
No. I'm not talking of Breakaway. I'm just saying it's in real life.
Oh, like, yes.
Real life. The track was wet. Everyone kept on going. They didn't stop. They didn't go for a pit or anything. Everyone was just driving in those inters because they know as the more you go, it builds up. The tires get warm, and the track gets to suit the set of tires that they had, you know, and the car gets quicker. That's what this is doing.
Absolutely, and remember, the more laps are done, these intermediate tires also clear some of the standing water, so the racing line gets defined better and better. And Cepiso, I would have you know, while you were chatting there, Tendo, there's McLaren stuck on track. Cepiso is on the second row as things stand. He crossed the line to set a 123.233. Fantastic effort from the Ferrari driver. Romeo Mandla, can he improve? He does by half a second. It's P2 for the AlphaTauri driver. Fantastic stuff in the wet. Mandla potentially on the front row here with just minutes to go before this Q3 session ends. He is looking solid in these wet conditions. Beautiful stuff from Mandla. And it looks like Letty T is, he's been spinning and spinning. He's lost the wing. He won't have enough time. Just 2 minutes for him to come back. Liddy is just going to have to be content with that P. 10 starting. He blocked off Seaflay, who was hopefully looking to improve. I'm pretty sure Seaflay is seething in the cockpit of the hat there. The quickest man by some distance, 121.6.
Look at it. Sorry to cut you. Look at it. All the guys who have done a lot of laps are the ones who have improved, except for Spuda. I don't know how he did that, but most guys that have done 5 laps, those are the ones with better times than the one with 1 or 2 or stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's watch Seppo Temba with a brand new set of tires. Zotile in the Alpine sneaks ahead of Romeo and Esbuda, who had provisionally stuck into the P2 spot. What can Seppo Temba do? He's beginning what we can assume to be the last run out here on track. The Ferrari driver has been the silent assassin. Every time he's taken part in a race, he has given the top runners a lot to think about. Okay, Zozo, says Dini in the comment section. Alpine, shout to Maspano with the sky blue pom-poms in the comment section. But will the Scarlet Red Scuderia Ferrari of Seppo Temba have something to say towards the end of this? It looks like he's gone significantly quicker. Sector 1 split of about 28 seconds. It looks purple on the track map. Can Seppo Temba put something together here to give Seaflay a headache and give Seaflay a lot to think about before the end of this? He has a bit of a snap before hitting that apex on the right-hander. This is one of the slowest corners, of course, out on track. He takes it in Gear 3 to Seppo Temba. Not too much of a snap coming out in what would have been the DRS section towards the end of Sector 2 here. Seppo Temba goes 2.5 seconds quicker, 56.4 split at the end of Sector 2. We'll point that car straight after this left-hander, and there's a car ahead of him. Hopefully it will not disturb him, not one bit. 7 seconds of this qualifying session to go. This will be Tempo Tamba's last run, last chance to loom. Can it be a potential front row start for the Ferrari driver? He will point that car straight. Brown Boy, what can he do? Still on track. Tempo Tamba is the quickest man. It's a 120.7 for the Ferrari driver. An absolutely beautiful effort from Tempo Tamba. That Brown Boy is also improving by a factor of 1.1 seconds. C-Clay will be he's picking his job from the floor or from the floor of the car. It's Brown Boy who's going to look to challenge the top runners. He crosses the line P2, and Seaglay's knocked down a peg. It's P3, the second row start for the championship leader, the Haas driver. Sensational stuff from Tempo Temba to cross the line, leading proceedings out here in Zandvoort. What about Espuda? He looks to be on an in-lap. Espuda will be content with that P4 spot as he brings that car home, and Loveness is still out on track. Is he pushing? That is the question. Has he broken his wing there? Front right? Yeah, the front right wing end plate is gone. So Loveness there losing grip, losing traction, or losing downforce rather as a result, but he's still giving it a go. He's still pushing to improve on that. He does improve. It's P6. Imagine what he could have done with a full wing intact. At the end of proceedings, it is Tempo Temba in pole position for Ferrari from Brown Boy in P2, who will be ecstatic with that. The high fives going around in the Red Bull garage. Christian Horner, Lungs, and the like cheering him on. What a fantastic effort. Seakley will start P3. We then have Aspuda in 4th, Zotal 5th, Loveness P6, Mandla Romeo P7, Tapiso 8th, Ban Kobe and Liddy T, the McLaren duo rounding off the top 10 in P9 and 10 respectively. Man, what a Q3. Beautiful set of surprises there. Seakley, he tried, he huffed and he puffed, and I think running into the back of, I think it was Liddy that we saw him, who was making his way after spinning. That definitely threw him off, Tindo.
Nah, but I don't think that Lud incident disturbed him very well because he had time. So I feel like maybe he thought he has done it, nobody's going to improve. And not knowing that he left the track warm with all the laps he was doing. So the other guys are like, thank you. The moment he left, they just turned into something else, and they improved their times. Yeah. But I think, it's actually surprising. It's a good lap. Hey, these TTs, they are a problem. Tier 2, you have a TT, a Turbo T92. Here we have a TT. They are dominating everywhere, these TTs. Eh?
Yeah, the TTs are not here to play around. Absolutely beautiful stuff from Tempo Temba. Will be absolutely delighted with that. Smiles all around in the Scarlet Red Ferrari. Miss Bono, Wandel Shezzy with the fire emojis there. Let's go TT, says Deanie in the comment section. The letter gang in the front row, TTs and BB, says Wandel Shezzy. Let the race begin, says Miss Bono. And look at that, it's dry, Tindo, it's dry. And keen to get this done. TT with a stonker, says Smirch Django. And has Seakley started P3 before the season? I think there may have been instances where he didn't necessarily start on pole position. Have there? I actually can't recall.
No, I think it's his first. I think it's his
might be his first.
Dominant, yeah.
Yeah, there may have been instances where he was overtaken in the first lap and he manages to fight his way back.
Yeah.
But right now, he's going to have to fight his way back pretty much from lap 1, which is going to make things very, very interesting indeed. Especially if we have a dramatic first lap. But Seakley is, of course, a driver of such high pedigree. Always expect him to be giving the grid a headache or two, regardless of where he starts. We've seen him, of course, in the sprint races, how fantastic he can be fighting his way from the back of the pack. Now, that was a beautiful and fairly beautifully surprising top 3. So hopefully we get an equally surprising race. Kaboza would have been licking his lips. Of course, this is his favorite track, his home ground, if you will. And, he would have been enjoying things had he been out here on track. We're going to get proceedings underway in a couple of minutes, and hopefully it's going to be some beautiful stuff. Thank you for joining us. It is the formation lap in the top tier of Breakaway League Racing. Malusi the Malusi seems to be here. And let's make sure you have all the relevant information that you need. And let's also get a sense of the tire strategies, Tindo. What do you make of that? S. Buddha, Mandla, and Sapiso, the only three opting for medium compound tires. Do you back the strategy, or would you rather have started with the hard tires onto the mediums? Of course, bearing in mind, it's so tough coming out of the pits on a cold set of hard tires. It's always a challenge. So,
I feel like, from my point of view, from what I experienced yesterday, the mediums are not that good in this track. I don't know why. The hards are actually good. So the guys maybe with the hards, they actually, it's beneficial for them because they're gonna go way longer. And once they start picking up pace, the mediums will be fading away. And the medium guys, when they go to pits, they're gonna be starting being cold. It's gonna take time again for them to gain some, to be warm and then to start pick up with the pace. So for me, I would say the actually guys on hards are actually good. There is a good strategy from my point of view, because on this track the hards are actually the best for me. Because you can go longer and then go to soft after that if there's no safety car, you know.
Yep, with just 11 drivers as well. Hopefully we get a race without too much incidents as far as safety car is concerned, and we get 36 proper laps of full throttle racing, uninterrupted racing. That would certainly make things quite beautiful out here today. Malusi the Malusi is here. He managed, despite connection issues in qualifying, which saw him kicked out of Q3 without giving it a proper go. He's going to start P11, and thankfully for him, it's just 10 drivers in front of him instead of starting all the way at the back of a 20-driver grid. So, how much drama will we have? And does Tempo Temba place that car correctly? Seems like he does, as does Brown Boy, C. Clay, no issue. S. Buddha, yes. Zotow gets it. Loveness and Romeo not so much. Capito has nailed it. What about Ban Kobe? On and off the rest of the top 10. His teammate Liddy has not got that correct. Ban Kobe has to adjust his line, and that'll compromise him, as it does. Malusi the Malusi is also in position. And let's get a sense of the race start. Welcome to Zandvoort. 5 lights, the only time South Africa look forward to the lights going out, and they are out. It is Tempo Temba versus Brown Boy for the race lead. What can Seekley do? It's a bad start because Asapuda has pipped the half driver to P3. Zotow is hanging on there to that P5 spot. No collisions coming through the first corner. Tempo Temba holds his own against Brown Boy, who's right on his tail. Seekley is going to have to warm those tires up, and Asapuda is going to have to take advantage of the hard tire compound runners in front and behind him. Seekley, what can he do? He's holding his own. He's within half a second of the driver in front of him. The top and forth with the champion now get a front row seat into the battle for the podium positions right now. Early days, and Seekley takes it easy through that right-hander, gear 6, and almost at the moment of the curve, he's tighter on the apex compared to S. Buddha, who goes wide there and loses a lot of time. Seekley passes up through that sequence of right-handers. The slow left-hander now, of course, is one where Seekley breaks much later than S. Buddha and holds his own. He is now half a second behind the Williams driver. Behind Seekley is Zotow, who's fallen behind by 1.2 seconds. Malusi the Malusi, look at that. What a race start. He's fighting with Loveness at the back, and he goes on the inside of the Alfa Romeo driver. He thinks about it, but he does not get that move done. Malusi the Malusi will bide his time. He started P11. He finds himself P7, and that is where he will cross the line at the end of lap 1. Loveness breaks the toe. Malusi tucks right in. Ooh, Loveness kisses the wall there. Malusi's going to take the outside line, and he's not going to fight it there. Will he get the switcheroo this time? Not necessarily. Loveness is holding his own there as these two fight. Zotow's going to thank his lucky stars because he is just getting a little bit of an advantage as these two fight it out. Romeo, meanwhile, is right behind the Mercedes. It's a fantastic battle all the way from Loveness through to Ban Kobe. Tapiso is falling a little bit away, as is Liddy at the back of the pack currently. But right now it is the battle for the lead, of course, is Tempo Temba versus Brown Boy, and right behind them, Seekley has been looking to get this move done on Espuda pretty much from lap 1, and towards the end of lap 2, perhaps Seekley will be looking to get his advantage on the main straight. Tindo, on a track like this, do you just bide your time for the DRS sections of the track and that main straight, or are there certain corners where there's overtaking opportunities?
It's actually tricky to overtake here. I think the only way you can overtake is on this straight, main straight, and then the second DRS zone as well is not that effective because it's really hard. It's a very short DRS zone, and then it's a tight corner as well. So it's very tricky. If you wanna overtake someone, the main straight. Other than that, you're gonna be stuck behind someone. If you wanna try and push it, you're gonna end up having the situations we were having yesterday. You know, where you end up crashing.
Yeah, Sika was pushing it, and he goes into the back of the Williams driver. But Esbuda seems to be the one that's spooked because Sika almost got that move done. Sorry to cut you off there, Tindo. But as you were saying, there's certain opportunities to be had here, even though it's not necessarily the easiest to overtake.
Yeah, because you might find a gap, and then you wanna go into that gap. That gap is closed. That's the same thing that happened. What Sita almost did here. That's what exactly happened yesterday to me. Where you find that small gap, and maybe the guy in front just had a little bit of span or oversteer or understeer, and then you wanna use that gap, and then he comes back to it. What happens next? You crash, and there's a McLaren is stopped here.
Yep,
I think
Ludi at the back of the pack has spun, and as these two fight it out for that final podium spot in the initial parts of this race, it's Brown Boy versus Teppo Temba, the battle for the race lead. Teppo Temba, TT, in the scorching hot, red hot Ferrari, is absolutely unfazed with this battle by Brown Boy, whose battery power has been circumspect. He's keeping it nice and calm. He's not using too much of his battery. Of course, he does have the advantage of DRS. Zikley gets the move done on the inside of Esbuda. He has the advantage. He has the line. He's got the move done. He's now up to P3 and has to contend with a 2.7 gap to that P2 running Brown Boy. And Mebo reckons he would be in P3 were he involved in this race. Right now, he is cheering on his teammate from the comment section, from the stands out here. And what a battle in prospect we have between Seakley and Brown Boy, who is looking to take his advantage and get this move done on Teppo Temba, who is unfazed as far as the lines that he is taking. Looks like someone is dropping. Esbuda might have had a royal spin. He's down to P9, Esbuda. Oh man, he was P4, Esbuda. Lost all of that momentum. He probably had an almighty spin. Teppo Temba, is that red light flashing? Well, we were initially on board. It didn't look like he was wasting too much of his battery, Teppo Temba. But right now, Brown Boy can smell blood.
He was draining it on the first lap and second. He was draining the battery because he was trying to keep up with the pace of Brown Boy in the back.
And Brown Boy will need no second invitation. He tucks on the inside. They're side by side. Are the Ferrari and the Red Bull, and the RB18 has the advantage. He gets the fastest lap and is through into the lead on this race. And lap 5 of 36. And he will look to build a little bit of daylight between himself and Teppo Temba, who now has the headache of Seakley in the Haas behind him. Teppo Temba P2, he's going to look to recoup some of that battery life, and in the meantime, hang on to within a second and thus get DRS advantage from Brown Boy. And Seakley, 2.1 seconds back in P3. Zoltau is a further 2.5 seconds back in P4. He is currently contending with the W13 of Malusi the Malusi.
Oh, Brown Boy! Brown Boy went off track. Brown Boy
off track. He hits the advertising marker, and he's in P3. Oh, my word. As we were watching the action, did he hit the curb? Is that what made him lose?
Yeah, he hit the curb.
Brown Boy, after working so hard, preserving his battery, now Teppo Temba is back in the advantage. But remember, he used up most of his battery power trying to keep Brown Boy at bay. So Teppo Temba is 1.5 seconds ahead of Seakley, whose battery power, I have you know, is right at the 75 or 73% mark. And even on this main straight, he's not tempted to use it. Goes fastest of the Haas driver. Now pipped by Malusi the Malusi, who is now in striking distance. He goes side by side, Malusi, with the Alpine driver on the outside line. And Zoltau still has the inside, but Seakley, or rather Malusi, is ahead. And Zoltau now has to contend with Loveness following behind. And as I say that, Loveness comes so close to kissing the back of the Alpine. Will he get this move done, Loveness? Look at that superior straight line speed. He's used up so much of his battery, Loveness, to stay in touch with these top runners. Right now, just 6% with the battery power. His battery is flashing. He has to be easy on the brakes. They're almost going to the back of the Alpine. What can Zoltau do? He has to now keep this Alfa Romeo at bay because Loveness has some breathing space between himself and Romeo. Currently running P7, 2.1 seconds behind this car of Loveness. Zoltau goes wider than Loveness out of that apex, but both these cars have DRS. Loveness has hardly any ERS left. Can he get this move done? No, he does not. Of course, he does not have any advantage as far as being close enough is concerned. Meanwhile, in the battle for the race lead, Sitley has fought his way to within half a second within DRS of Tepu Temba. And this is the main straight with 80% worth of battery power. These two have dispatched the Brown Boy from DRS, even though Brown Boy gets the fastest lap. Can Sitley get this move done before the end of lap 7? Or will he bide his time to get back into the main straight again and effect this overtake? Lap 7 of 36. Tindo, it's drama as Sitley goes wide in the spanking section, trying to get the outside line, Tindo.
It's really interesting because I was watching as well Spuda and Bangobi. Hey, Bangobi just did one move that I didn't understand whether it was a glitch or it's him, but it just didn't make sense because maybe he's trying to break away the toll. Because it's like he wanted to go into the pit and then he came back in as well. And Spuda just lost it all there. As much as he had DRS, but there was no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. And then also I feel like Umelusi. Hey? Yeah. He's showing them flames, eh? He's showing them flames, Umelusi.
Started P11, now is P4 is the Mercedes driver, as we watch Loveness brake really, really late to tuck right back into the slipstream, right behind the Alpine of Zotal. He can smell the fumes coming out of that Renault Works car, perhaps even get a speck of sweat off the Zotal's helmet. He's so close, he can smell Zotal's cologne from the back of that Alpine. I'm told Zotal uses I'm not sure, but we will get that confirmation in due time. Can Zotal hang on here as he is being made to sweat by the Alfa Romeo driver?
Not English players, not English players.
Here comes Loveness on the outside now. He does seem to have a decent degree of speed on these sections where the cornering isn't too intense. He does tuck quite close towards the back of that Alpine. Can Zotal get this move done to 3/10? Can Loveness get the move done on Zotal? 3/10 behind the Alpine he is currently. Meanwhile, another battle taking place. It is Buda looking to redeem himself on those medium compound tires and get the move done on Ban Kobe, who has been trying to defend as stoutly as he can from the Williams driver. Following behind him, he spins! Buda spins again! And Liddy will have a potential advantage of catching up. Buda.
Spuda. Hey.
Let's go, the battle for the race lead. They're on the main straight. Seedley's tucked right into the slipstream as Brown Boy looks to catch up. He's side by side. Seedley has the inside line. Seedley is a nose whip breath ahead. He's ahead. Going through turn 1, Tepu Temba has to relent and concede that position. He tried to drain his battery again. Tepu Temba trying to keep up with the Haas, trying to keep up with the champion, trying to keep up with Seedley, but to no avail. And right now, Brown Boy is back to give Tepu Temba another headache. 46% worth of battery power, so Brown Boy has been slowly recharging his battery, and now in lap 9 of 36, he can see that red light flashing on the back of the Scuderia Ferrari. It's another opportunity for Brown Boy to get this move done, and the more they fight, well, the happier Malusi the Malusi is, and he will be even happier if something as dramatic as a spin takes one of these three out, or indeed a safety car comes out, thus bunching the pack up and then giving us a glimpse of what Malusi the Malusi can do as he fights his way from somewhere close to the front of the pack. Liddy T is still 17 and a half seconds behind the pack.
I was about to mention it. Is Liddy still racing? Oh, he's just an AI.
He's still at the back of the pack, Liddy, really struggling despite the spins ahead of him. We just saw a couple of minutes ago as Buda having an almighty spin. So Liddy is really having a lonely race out here. And
they change the supply, the engine supply or the power supply, and they're getting supply from Quid. Why not? You know, it's really.
Malusi
the Malusi and Zotal are fighting. They're fighting, and as I say that, Malusi's up to P3. Malusi has overtaken the Alpine as we were on board with.
No, Brown Boy spun.
Brown Boy spun again. He's down to P6. My word.
Brown boy.
Yeah.
Like you see what I was saying. This track is very, very tricky. One mistake
goes off track again. Yes.
One mistake, you out. It's either you touch the curb and you be aggressive with it. The curves will respond to you. That's what happened on this track. So it's you just need to be patient. I'm sure Sitley can see Hey, Triple Timber is closing on Sithe, but you know it's less mistakes you do, the less cap you charge, the quicker you get, and you less mistakes as well.
Absolutely, Brown Boy having another spin, and he worked so hard. Last time out, he was lucky enough to stay among the top three when he lost, when he had a bit of a twitch and went off track and was overtaken. He had another golden opportunity to challenge for the podium again, but now he's going to have to fight his way past Loveness, and then Zotal, and then Malusi the Malusi. So he's got his work cut out for him. Another driver, Brown Boy, going to hope for a safety car. Meanwhile, Zotal has been defending for his life in the Alpine there, but managing to keep it together. But Loveness is now within 2/10 once again, and he definitely breaks significantly later, does Loveness, into the corners, and that's when he comes oh so close to the back of that Alpine, and Zotal somehow is managing to keep it together.
Spuda against Pan, Spuda. Oh Lord.
Spuda.
Spuda, kanti skipanga ni Spuda. I-Williams idependa kuwe, bayawadinga lama-point. Saqela Spuda, bayadinga lapha Williams.
I so wish, you know, we had the powers where we can have one person on top, you know, where he can make all those decisions. We would swap and then put Django there, and then, you know, Spuda, he can come and present Williams in tier 2. And he has a damaged wing as well. His right side is damaged.
Is that for the Williams of Spuda?
Yeah, Williams of Spuda, yes.
Yeah, perhaps he's going to bring those medium tires into the pit lane earlier than he would have wanted. Right now, it is one of the battles of the day. It is Loveness versus Zotal, and Brown Boy is hoping to work his way back into the reckoning. How's Tempo Temba doing as far as rebuilding his battery and staying in touch there? Well, as I say that, he's not necessarily being careful, or rather, he's not necessarily being stingy with the battery. Down to 8%. He's doing all he can to stay within DRS, Tendo.
He's chowing it. I think for him as well, for him staying in that DRS, it's actually opening a gap from Melusi. If you notice that, he's using that as a tactic. I think it's working for him because Melusi is very quick in this guys, but he's using DRS and then he gets more pacey and actually like open a small gap. But now he's out of DRS. Let's see what happened with his 8% of battery. You know, it's just going to be tricky. You know, and have you noticed as well? Sorry, have you noticed as well what I mentioned? Which the hards are doing? They actually perform better here. Look at the guys who are on hards. What they're doing.
They are 12 laps in, setting some of the faster laps as Tempo Temba has been dispatched out of Ciclay's DRS. He's now 1.2 seconds behind the Haas driver. He tried and tried. He huffed, he puffed, he tried to hang on, but Ciclay just had too much, and that gap now extending to about almost 1.5 seconds. So Ciclay, in a matter of a sequence of a couple of corners, gaining a couple of tenths from Tempo Temba. And as he slows down, it brings Malusi the Malusi into the reckoning. He was 2 seconds and some chitlins behind Tempo Temba, but right now it's 1.6, perhaps soon to be 1.5 seconds. So Malusi the Malusi chipping away, certainly with an incredibly brilliant drive. What, I wonder, could he have done if he managed to take part in Q3 and if he had started perhaps among the top 3 in this race? Man, you really could have had a classic, another masterclass from Malusi the Malusi, but right now it is a fight back, a recovery drive, if you will, having started at the back of his pack. And Malusi can see that red light flashing on the back of Tempo Temba's car as Zotal and Loveness make their way onto the main straight. Loveness has been trying, but try as he might, he does not have an answer for the Alpine of Zotal. Or perhaps Loveness is just happy to stay tucked in here and just let Zotal use however much of his battery as possible. They're both hovering around the 30% with the battery power. So Loveness is just happy to stay within DRS here and not be too troubled as far as that is concerned. Brown Boy had that spin, finds himself now in the middle of the pack, P6, and Romeo is a further 9 seconds ahead. So daylight between Brown Boy and Mandla, but Mandla now has the specter of Van Kobe to contend with. He's just 3/10 behind the McLaren driver. What can he do?
I put Loveness. Yeah, I think Loveness trusted first. And but no. Maybe it's just a glitch on my side. Maybe it's a glitch.
Loveness is still within half a second of Zotal. We saw Mandla from the perspective of Ban Kobe switch his line towards one of the previous apexes there, but not quite affecting Ban Kobe because he wasn't necessarily close enough. But Ban Kobe is just making sure to stay tucked within the DRS and loses a little bit of momentum out of that sequence of corners. And as they hurtle away towards the main straight, Brown Boy sets the fastest time on hard tires, 1:14.5 for the Red Bull driver. Ooh, Van Kobe loses a little bit of momentum and falls to 8/10 behind the AlphaTauri driver, who makes his way into turn 1 without incident. Behind Van Kobe, 5 seconds behind, is Cepiso for Ferrari, making his way, hoping to chip away at that gap between himself and the McLaren ahead. Buda has spun and also broken his wing and finds himself 21 seconds behind the Ferrari ahead. And Liddy T, perhaps taking advantage of Buda's most recent spin, is now 8.5 seconds behind the Williams driver. So Liddy makes his way now towards turn 1, and he's definitely got his work cut out. Now, Van Kobe versus Mandla. What can he do? He goes a little bit wide of the apex there, so Van Kobe has to adjust his line, opens up the DRS, and stays snug, tucked right behind the AlphaTauri. Takes the first part of that chicane without incident. Can he gain momentum? Ooh, the gap is still hovering around the
I think Manda has spread line speed. Look at the gap, how he's opening it when it comes to straight. Just look at it.
It is 7/10 coming out of the final corner, and as they make their way down this main straight, Van Kobe does not use his battery, and it hovers around that same mark. So yes, Van Kobe just does not seem to have an answer. Meanwhile, Cepiso is going to be the first driver to bring his car into the pits. Medium tire runner Cepiso, some way away from the likes of Mandel, of course, and Van Kobe. Fits soft tires so early, Tindo.
Soft tires.
Well,
I gag.
that is surprising.
That's weird. No, that's weird.
Or perhaps he's deliberately going for a two-stop strategy. Meanwhile, who spun? Zotile! Zotile. Loveness will need no second invitation as he might have hit the wall. Look at that. He's wingless. Yeah. The wingless wonder in the Alpine.
They were too close. Maybe something might have happened between them because they were very, very close. I think it was like zero. There were 2 tenths down or something there, but they should have touched each other there.
Yeah, and here comes Mandla now. And Van Kobe, they're not going to have any issue passing the Alpine driver, who is livid now, will come back fuming back into the pit lane. And of course, that does mess up his tire strategy, but perhaps he will now spit on a set of medium compound tires. He might have been hoping to go for a hard to soft tire strategy. Perhaps, we do not know. But right now, towards the end of the race. As well?
Yeah, it's going on soft.
That is absolutely surprising. Van Kobe is still within touching distance of Mandla, but can't quite get the move done. Meanwhile, Loveness, who was thanking his lucky stars for Van Kobe having, from Zotal, having spun out. We're not sure, of course, of that incident. Loveness might have
just
been
said a
culpable.
moment as well in the pit exit as well.
Oh, did he hit?
I think he kissed the wall there. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, it didn't damage his
wing.
His wing, yeah.
Right now, we're watching the battle between Bromboy and Loveness, who seems to defend, but is going to have his work cut out because his battery's down to less than 10%. Will Bromboy use what's left of his battery? Looks like Bromboy has the superior speed and the advantage of DRS. He goes on the outside. Loveness takes a fairly defensive line. They make a little bit of contact.
Almost touched. Yeah.
Did they? But Loveness does not concede. Loveness adjusts his line, but Bromboy has the advantage coming through turns 2 and 3. Rather, Bromboy and the Red Bull driver is now ahead, 3 seconds behind the W13 of Malusi the Malusi. Loveness had a little bit of a moment there, has been fighting battle after battle. All my life I had to fight, says Loveness. All race I had to fight. And right now, the fight is with Bromboy. It's the battle for P4. And as, of course, both these drivers are running hard tires, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks first and who gets the undercut, or if indeed the overcut is successful if one of these two opts deliberately to pit later than the other. Well, Loveness is now in P5, and now is going to have to fight his way back into contention to nudge Brown Boy off his perch. Has a bit of a snap there, does Loveness. And meanwhile, Romeo has not yet pitted medium compound tires, 17 laps old, lap 19 of 36. He has some daylight between him and Loveness. He was running 14 seconds ahead, and Ban Kobe has fallen.
The raindrops, yes.
That is why Mandela went long. When they come in early, no.
That's why. So I'm sure that's why also other guys went for hards.
Yes.
Because they knew it was going to rain.
Yes.
Plus, Usihle is actually about to catch up on Ulodi. If you look on the map, it's really terrifying. I can see comments here. They're saying Ulodi is heartbroken.
That man is heartbroken. Perhaps they're talking about Zotal, who had just recently spun as well. But here come the raindrops, and Tsepiso and Zotal's soft tire strategy, or rather soft tire choice, is now making sense. But of course, having had to come into the pit so early as the DRS is disabled, that's going to make things very, very interesting.
Complicated, yeah.
Indeed.
Let's see. But I feel like they should pit now. If nobody's going... Sector 2, who's span on Sector 2?
Is it a McLaren again?
I think it's Scuda.
Yeah, is he running wingless here, or am I... Yeah, he still hasn't come into the pits, yeah. Here comes Seakley, here come the top runners into the pits. What will it be? Lap 20 of 36. Loveness stays out on track as Temple fits his intermediate set of tires, as does Seakley and Malusi, and of course Brown Boy. Loveness taking the risk. How difficult will it be for him on this in lap? How slippery will it be? For Loveness, we see him having a bit of a twitch there, and he manages to keep it together. Loveness rolling the dice and already struggling for a semblance of grip there on those 19 lap old hard tires. As the rain starts to fall, the track temperature starts to drop. Yeah, look at that gap. 7 seconds, soon to be dropping down to the 6 seconds. I wonder by the time Loveness makes his way into the pits, what that gap will be. He's going to be, of course, one of the last drivers to opt for those intermediate tires. Meanwhile, looks like Esbuda also. He's coming into the pits. Someone spin. Is that Liddy? Liddy on the intermediate, having spun. Are you telling me Esbuda fits on a new set of medium tires?
No, it's not. It's inches. I was gonna be shocked.
That would have been something. Tsepiso is
still out.
On hard tires.
Going off.
Well, finally, Loveness finally comes in, but Seakley was on the brink of an overtake anyway. And how much ground will Loveness lose? Oh man, Loveness had made his way up to the top 5. How much time, how many positions will that cost him? He falls behind.
Maybe he might survive there because Bangobi as well is still on hards. So he doesn't have
Bangobi is only coming in now, yeah. And
just
Romeo.
went off track. There's a Ferrari that is stopped.
Tsepiso, perhaps?
Tsepiso.
Yeah, he had ghosted. I wonder.
These guys, they can't see in the rain what's happening with the rain. He
had
they
soft tires. Yeah, Tsepiso had soft tires as well. He opted to stay out.
This wing looks funny.
Yeah. Wingless wonder for Scuderia Ferrari. Ban Kobe also opted to stay out, but he now has Mandla in front of him.
Perhaps who's that? The Brown Boy. Brown Boy spun as well.
Where?
Yeah, Brown Boy spun. He broke his wing.
Lost the wing. Brown Boy started off so well, but having a nightmare of a day. Is that the ghost of Liddy that he's about to pass? A ghost through?
That is the ghost of Liddy.
Yeah, that is Liddy, who has now been lapped by Brown Boy. And soon to be lapped by Loveness, who's about 3.5 seconds behind. Brown Boy is going through, it says Miss Bono in the comment section. Absolutely, we'll have to nurse that Red Bull back home. And how many positions will that cost him?
It might cost him, I think, 1 position, though, because it's a bit 20 seconds. I know it might cost him a lot, eh? It might cost him a lot. But
Romeo will be licking his lips here. Oh, was that Loveness hitting the wall on the left there? Oh, coming out of that final turn, Loveness, of course, will overtake. What about Romeo? How far back is he? It might just be too far back. So Brown Boy will hang on to that P5
Yeah, but
spot.
it's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very, very close. Very, very close. Let's see.
It will be.
Let's see.
Kobe has resumed his fight with Mandla. He tucks him to the inside. He goes side by side with Kobe almost. But he does not have that straight line speed. But he breaks later. He breaks later, Kobe. He goes on the inside. And here comes Brown Boy out the pits. They both pass the Red Bull driver. Oh, my word. Kobe gets that move done. And he is up to P5. The McLaren driver overtakes Mandla. They fought Mandla. Did he crash?
He crashed.
Oh, Mandla loses his car having just fought.
Straight to the wall. Safety car.
Oh,
definitely.
Safety car. Is it a full safety car? Yes, the safety car is out. Mandla will be absolutely crestfallen, heartbroken, and with just 10 drivers left, all these guys need to do is bring it home, and it is at least points collected. But the exciting thing,
going to score a point.
Ludi will score points despite the spins, despite the drama, despite donating his wings. Ludi will indeed gain some points, and I know they're singing hymns for Ludi at home. They're lighting candles. They're doing all wonderful things. It's a beautiful scene at Ludi's hometown. People are crying tears of joy. It's a potential point for the McLaren driver. And right now, Tindo, I am excited because the pack is going to get bunched up. Loveness comes into the pits. Perhaps he took some damage. Perhaps he had a wing change. But now, of course, under safety car, they're going to back. The pack is going to get backed up again. Malusi has so much of his battery power, as does Teppo Temba, whose car... Yes.
I don't think everyone is going to be bunched up. I don't know how many people that did Sitlek left. So maybe it might be 5 people or so, because the Zota, they had to pit twice, and the Teps as well, I think twice, Usbuda as well, Sam as well. So I don't know it would say how many people who sit left, because if you are left now as a safety car, you're not gonna go anywhere. However, who was that? Did he crash again?
At the back of the pack?
Yeah, I saw his car stopped. It stopped there. Yeah, I think he went off track, but this wings looks okay.
Perhaps we did. Let's take a look at the gap to the leader. That'll give us a sense. Liddy definitely might have been lapped. He looks like his gap is about what? 1 minute 17.
1 minute 17.
Should be more. Spuda, was he lapped, perhaps?
Yeah, because Spuda, he was on mediums and the guys had already pitted and he had a damaged wing. So the time when he went to the pits, all the leaders were actually pitted already. So, but I don't think he is though, because it's just a minute, no. So he's saying it's Ludi only who's left.
Perhaps it is just Ludi, since considering that gap, and perhaps it would have been more telling had we checked towards the beginning of the safety car. But Teppo Temba is licking his lips.
Ja, vele Teppo Temba va excited, bazodla fresh manje, yabo. Ja no, bazodla fresh, Teppo. Maybe uzoyithola overtake angazi. Marusi can blind sometimes good. Look out for Loveness as well.
Yes, Loveness does have a tendency to do really well in wet tire conditions. He recently pitted, did Loveness, so he's got a fresh set of intermediate tires. And, well, if he can bring his trademark aggression, they give the likes of Malusi a lot to think about. But, of course, Malusi has had a beautiful drive, currently P3, having fought his way all the way from the back of the pack. Malusi is now in the reckoning for a beautiful day, a potential podium finish if he can keep it together, keep Loveness and Bad Kobe at bay. Former teammates turned adversaries are Bad Kobe and Malusi, but between them, of course, is Loveness. Brown Boy, P6, as things stand. Zotal, P7. He had that huge incident, of course, losing his wing.
Zotal should be the happiest man at the moment, because he was definitely out. Like what, I don't know if it was Miss Bono who said, once you spin, you're out in tier 1. They will leave you. Safety car is coming in this lap. I think Zota has an advantage as well. He has warmer tires because he's been pushing it.
The safety car is in this lap. That'll be absolutely beautiful. And it looks like everybody from Tsepiso might have been lapped. Tsepiso, Esbuda, and Liddy might have already been lapped. The safety car is in. When will C-Clay send it? The answer is now. Malusi tucks into a 3-car DRS train. Oh, Tempo Temba goes on the inside. Tempo Temba gets that move done. Superior straight line speed in the right. They make contact. C-Clay makes contact, turning into the Ferrari driver, but he manages to keep it together. Does Tempo Temba touch right behind the Ferrari, does C-Clay, and Malusi watches the carnage and is careful not to get involved there.
Oh, C-Clay.
What happened there? Did he hit the back of the Ferrari, C-Clay?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And it is now Malusi into the lead, taking advantage of the drama. Both C-Clay and the Ferrari of Tempo Temba ghosted. And, of course, that is Tsepiso, who's currently being left. Malusi, who started this race at the back of the pack, leads proceedings on lap 25 to 36. It's been a sensational, stellar, superb drive from the Mercedes driver, working that W13, making it sing as C-Clay goes wide through that corner, losing a little bit of momentum. I wonder, has he taken wing damage? Has the Haas driver taken wing damage? Well, he's going to have to fight his way back now, and let's see if he can get this done. Loveless, meanwhile, is there and thereabouts, watching the drama unfold. This is the perspective from the Alfa Romeo driver. C-Clay is right on the back of Tempo Temba.
I think C-Clay needs to be patient. Because you can see he's kicked, but the guy in front of him is not, so you need to take him on the straight.
Absolutely, as Malusi gets an advantage coming out of that final corner. C-Clay weaves to the left and right, trying to think about which line to take. He's got so much battery power left when we tuck it to the inside and turn one. No, he does not. Tempo Temba holds his own, and as these two fight, Malusi is praying. Long may this continue. Long may this go on. Give me some breathing space. Let me breathe. Oh, C-Clay goes on the outside. It's an audacious attempt, but his line is not exactly clear. And as he gathers himself again, Loveness will look to catch up. Look at Tempo Temba. He's so close to the back of that Mercedes. C-Clay once again might make contact here if he's not careful. Oh, that was such an audacious overtake by Tempo Temba initially, but Malusi was there to take advantage when the Ferrari and the Haas spotted out on track once again. C-Clay right now will be putting his head down, steeling himself, collecting himself, and gritting his teeth to get this potential move done again. There's a yellow flag further back. It might have been Esbuda, who is at the back of the pack, yet struggling for grip and is spinning and round. Liddy, meanwhile, has fallen so far behind P10, that being Esbuda. So what can Liddy do is another question that we're going to have to pay close attention to. We will soon have 9 laps of racing around this here circuit in Zandvoort. It's been dramatic. Steeply touches that curve on the right, and of course has to be quite careful there. But he's just going to line this move up. He's spared his battery so much. Look, he's at the 80% mark as far as battery power is concerned. What about Tempo Temba? He's also been circumspect, 94% of battery power, while Malusi is also hovering at the 80% mark. So all these 3 drivers know they will not get DRS. All they need to do is manage the battery. C-Clay was looking to get that move done, but has to relent once again. That particular corner, Tindo, the one that banks to the left, C-Clay seems to go really aggressive into it. He breaks way later than most of these guys, but he can't get a decent line out.
He needs to be careful, because that it costed me as well on that same corner where he wants to make a move.
Oh, Tempo Temba losing his bearings, and C-Clay gets the easiest of overtakes on the outside. Oh, he gets a move down. Tempo Temba struggling, having a twitch to the left and the right there. And right now, Loveness is right there to take full advantage. Oh, Tempo Temba, an unforced error there. C-Clay wasn't necessarily on his neck there, but Tempo Temba losing that advantage there. It is absolutely dramatic stuff from the Ferrari driver, who had a potential race win in prospect here, but do not count him out. If he can gather himself, and if Malusi can back that half up, that's an interesting phrase, then Tempo Temba might be within over here, but he's going to have to bide his time here. Loveness is about 1.1 seconds behind that Ferrari. Oh my word. Drama here in Zandvoort. C-Clay is looking to be aggressive. It's the same banking corner, Tindo. He thought about going on the outside, but he did not have the advantage. He's going to try to tuck on the inside and move to Malusi, who holds his line, and C-Clay does not seem to have enough space to get this move done. Temba is falling behind 7/10 now. The gap between P2 and 3. Can he get this move done? Oh my goodness, not necessarily the case this time. It's 8/10 now that Temba is falling behind. Go Hats and Neville. Striking distance. Go Zotile. Haas. I said back the Haas. Back the Haas. Wendell Chesney asking. You want us to be clear. Lap 28 and 36 has been a beautiful race out here in Zandvoort. C-Clay has not had it all his way out here, but being the champion that he is, he's managing to make them all sweat. Temba making a mistake that gave C-Clay the P2 position back. And right now, the champion is fighting to get back to that oh-so-familiar position of P1. He uses his battery, tucks into the slipstream. Malusi goes a little bit defensive, makes C-Clay go the long way around, but C-Clay has... Oh, they make contact! They make contact! And C-Clay gets the move regardless of the contact. Malusi relents and tucks into P2 behind the fast driver. That's Buddha once again, Tindo.
Shama kusheshi ngawusula.
Kurena speed.
M2 leyo, M2 isephumile.
Nale wing liphukile angcono vela aphize manje. Eliphukile le wing. Kunzima.
Liddy T is still making up the back of the pack, and now C-Clay, who finally got that move done, is now in front and has a 2-second advantage now, and that is the class and the pedigree of C-Clay. Now look at this. These are the position changes that Dini has been asking about in the comment section since the start of this race. Temba dropping down 2 places. Look at that. Malusi up to P2. He led this race at some point for a couple of laps. So beautiful stuff from the Mercedes driver. What an insane drive in lap 29 of 36. I'm surprised Brown Boy has not overtaken Van Kobe, says Ms. Bono in the comment section. Van Kobe battled Mandela before he crashed out, and right now he is under pressure from the Red Bull driver who tucks right into the slipstream. What about straight lane speed? Can Brown Boy get this done? He goes on the outside. Van Kobe also has a fair amount of speed to carry into turn 1, holds his own, and Brown Boy is hanging on. He is within the clutches of that McLaren. Meanwhile, Zotal, 1.5 seconds behind. Can he catch up as these two fight on along? And the Alpine driver had a heartbreaking moment which saw him lose so much momentum, Zotal. And right now we'll be hoping for an incident perhaps, or indeed a battle slowing down Brown Boy and Van Kobe. This is the perspective from the Red Bull driver. 6 laps of braking to go. C-Clay leads for Malusi and Temba at the front. Loveness is hoping to take advantage of Temba. He's within a half a second of the Ferrari. Meanwhile, Brown Boy versus Van Kobe is the battle that we are watching here. If you've just joined us, you've missed a fantastic first 30 laps. So thank you for joining the final part of this race here. Just 6 laps of racing, soon to be 5 laps of racing to go. Van Kobe holds his own, but Brown Boy gaining an advantage. He's now has a huge twitch. Brown Boy and Van Kobe will Van Kobe will be grateful for that. But can Brown Boy get some mojo back? Will he tuck into the slipstream? The answer is yes. Van Kobe changes his line somewhat, but Brown Boy tries he might not have enough coming into turn 1. He's on the outside, breaks far later than the McLaren. He's side by side with Van Kobe. Will they make a little bit of contact? Oh, it's beautiful racing, giving each other some room. Van Kobe with the advantage. Brown Boy relents and concedes and does not get that move done. Beautiful racing from Van Kobe and Brown Boy. The Bees with some A+ racing, giving each other some room over here. And Zotal, as these two fight, has fallen 4.6 seconds behind here. Lap 31 of 36. Can Brown Boy get this done? Well, that will make for some interesting viewing indeed. I would love to know from you who's been your driver of the day. Van Kobe, a huge moment, but he catches it. And Brown Boy almost crashing into him. There was not enough space for Brown Boy to select a line, perhaps. He was so close there, he had to slam the brakes. almost going straight into the side pod of that McLaren. Van Colby will be thanking his lucky stars that Brakeaway was almost too close to select a line around the McLaren. But how much will that have spooked Van Colby? They're making their way now through towards the end of Sector 3, the penultimate corner. Van Colby takes it, he keeps it without incident, and here comes Brown Boy. He's going to be tucked right into the slipstream. He takes the outside line. Will he tuck back behind? Yes, he does. But will he have enough? He used a little bit of the battery, and he thought about going on the inside line, but Van Colby hangs on to P5 in lap 32 of 36. Beautiful racing, Tindo. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Who is that? Is that Zotile? Oh, it's Zotile. Running in P7. Well, he's lucky. It looks like Tepiso is still... Well, Tepiso has been lagged, so Zotile's lucky that he's got so much daylight. I think that was might have been Tepiso unlapping himself. Zotile having a little bit of a spin and still finds himself running P7 in that LP. Lots of work for Zotile to do here, and we'll see whether or not he can just hang on here. Van Colby spun, giving Brown Boy the advantage there. And look at that gap. He's fallen so far behind, 7.9 seconds. And what was an interesting battle we were watching earlier is, now it's advantage Brown Boy as far as that battle is concerned. But he has daylight, 6.7 seconds between Brown Boy and Loveness. So Van Colby, who started off so well here, and was holding his own against all of these drivers, will now have his work cut out for him. P6 for the McLaren. It's a fairly decent points haul, and barring any dramatic incidents, he can find himself with a decent point haul for himself and indeed McLaren. Let's go back to the battle among the podium places. Clay, the race leader, has built an insane gap, 6.4 seconds. Oh my word. Hovering at the 6 second mark. Clay, another sensational effort. It hasn't been as smooth sailing as he's used to, but he's fought his way back to the front of the pack. It's strange. I was thinking, a glitchy car there disappearing?
I think it's a glitch, because there's no way, because the gap between Melusi and TT is quite big,
spinning again?
0.27.
Esbuda spinning again, getting lapped again by Clay there. Meanwhile, Tepo Temba was on the verge, but he looks to have lost momentum. He's lost all that momentum to Clay, and now, instead of battling Melusi, Tepo Temba will now have to deal with
Loveness.
Yep, Loveness, who is within a second of the Ferrari. Tepo Temba definitely having a roller coaster day. 2 laps of racing to go. Who is your shout for driver of the day? Let us know in the comment section. Melusi, of course, moving from the back of the pack to P2. He led this race, would have you know, but Clay just had too much in the bank, too much class, too much pedigree, and they could not deal with the Haas driver, the championship leader. Melusi, driver of the day, says Ms. Bonham in the comment section. Do you agree, or do you have other thoughts? Liddy, despite being at the back of the pack, has to contend, of course, with that 5-second time penalty on top of that. Tepiso, driver of the day, says Mfundo. Tepiso currently running P8. That's an interesting choice by Mfundo. Giving some shout-outs to Tepiso, who has had a fairly eventful race and was lapped, of course. And now this battle between Loveness and Tepo Temba has simmered a little bit, but cooled, as Loveness has slipped down to about 1.1 seconds behind the Ferrari driver. Brown Boy! Yes.
How can Tepiso be driver of the day? He never moved up, he never moved down, he's just on one position. Hey, Mfundo nje. Hey,
Maybe
Right.
ufundo ujabulela ukuthi uThephiso ka-crashanga. Maybe beka-expect ukuthi uThephiso atshayisa crash le moto yabo.
Ayikho leyo nto, ayikho leyo. Ibona la bantu bayavota nje bafike baspoil amaphepha la. Bafake signature instead of voting. How can you vote for Tepiso who didn't do anything?
Proud Boy is in P5. Bankobi P6. Tepo Temba has managed to find his way back into. Oh, he hits the wall. Tepo Temba. Oh, he was lining up a potential overtake. Tepo Temba hits the wall. The former race leader, the pole sitter, has been hitting barriers here.
Polisisa ufuna ukutshayisa amapalo la edengenero le. Kabuhlungu kanje Tepo Temba. Besikuthembile Tepo Temba. Kabuhlungu kanje Tepo Temba.
Tepo Temba just hitting the wall there was too eager. And I wonder if he's broken his wing because right now, Brown Boy can smell a potential P4 spot. Oh my word, Tepo Temba, dramatic moment.
Thing.
And
it's
look at
thing,
that.
you know.
It's a Ferrari thing, says Tinder. Loveness is up into the podium places. What a beautiful day for the Alfa Romeo driver. Taking advantage of the drama ahead of him. And he's there to pick up the pieces. And Malusi the Malusi, who's fallen 8.5 seconds behind Seatley, is going to breathe a sigh of relief that the specter of Tepo Temba is no longer one that he has to contend with. But Seatley has once again been in a class of his own, and as he makes his way now towards the midpoint of Sector 2 and to begin Sector 3, he has been absolutely sensational as the Haas driver, leading now from Malusi the Malusi by 9.5 seconds. Sensational stuff in lap 36 of 36. He's lapped some guys, perhaps the likes of Olidi and Ezabuda more than once, I would have you know. Loveness is P3 behind Malusi the Malusi. So beautiful stuff for the Alfa Romeo driver. Josh, aka Damnesia, will be cheering him on with a lot of enthusiasm, of course, somewhere in South Africa. And Malusi the Malusi running 10 seconds behind Seatley. Is he going for the fastest lap here? I don't know, but one thing is for sure, his crown will not be slipping because he claims race win after race win, and it's another feather to his cap here in the Netherlands. Seatley and the Haas wins for Team Haas. Can anyone dispatch of this man? Malusi the Malusi comes home in his first race in a while to cross the line for P2. And Loveness, what a day for Alfa Romeo, P3 for him. Tepo Temba, P4, having started so well and had a topsy-turvy race. Brown Boy recovers somewhat to come to P5, having spun earlier on. And what about Bankobi? Well, P6 for the McLaren driver, a decent haul of points. He definitely needs it. Zota will come home in P7. Sabiso will nurse that Ferrari home to P8. Liddy T claims a 9th place finish. It's going to be a decent place for a decent couple of points as Tapiso slows down and spins in celebration.
Hey, donkey, Tapiso, donkey one. Hey, donkey
hits the wall for good measure. Here comes Liddy T now, bringing that car home, and Esabuda managed to keep that car intact despite the spins, despite the wing losses. Here comes Liddy T to bring the McLaren home. It'll be a P3 finish for Liddy Tepo, rather P9 finish for Liddy Tepo. He will be absolutely grateful for those haul of points. They mean so much. Liddy taking some liberties coming onto the grass there in the final part of the track. It's a points finish for the McLaren driver. He's going to be happy. The Beatles will park there. Perhaps they're celebrating a little bit too much. But what a beautiful day of racing. And, of course, one of the first people to join us in the comments. It's a race winner, the top step of the podium. Once again, he did not have his way this time around. Take us through the qualifying drama and the drama of the race. Seatley, congratulations. The top step again.
Wait, hi guys. Quali, stupid mistake. Pitted as the track was starting to dry up. And then race that restart. It wasn't it. I also touched Tepo T, and then Melo cost us. That was not ideal for the both of us. But I realized that yes, to brake hard around that chicane, like very hard. which was very hard just staying behind him. But yeah, I was racing this time, which is better than the other weeks. It's challenging. Yeah, beautiful racing from the guys.
Beautiful racing indeed. Malusi the Malusi, he's back on the podium. It's a P2 spot for the Mercedes driver. Congratulations. How does that feel? That was a beautiful race. You had to fight your way from the back after disconnection issues. How on earth did you claw your way through that field? And just take us through the drama of that final half of the race, Malusi.
Shout out, man. Shout out. Congrats, Sihle boy. Congrats. Yo, no, this is a win for me. 100% a win for me. Beautiful race, man. I had disconnection issues in quali. Had to start P11. First 2 laps were just wild. The car was just singing beautifully. Every note I wanted the car to sing.
Yeah.
So everything was going perfectly. I think I got up to P6. Loveness gave me a bit of issues. I passed Loveness. As soon as I passed Zotili, the tires were complaining. So I was like, let me just stay behind the front 3, which was Brown Boy, TT, Sihle, right?
Yeah.
Just to take the tires a bit longer because of the rain. But everything was coming together, then the rain, then safety car. Yeah, but I managed to hold on to P2, man, which is P1 in my house right now.
Beautiful stuff. It's always so great to see you fighting among the front runners. I know Loveness seems to be having some issues coming in and out of the commentary room. He keeps on opening the door.
Loveness ungawari kunamagwinya ithathe igwinya le-P3. Awuvula umnyango ubani ovalelwe khona umuntu ovalelwe Loveness umnyango.
Yes, perhaps Loveness will come back. But Malusi the Malusi, I want to hear from you. It was so beautifully dramatic the way you fought and took advantage of the chaos to claim that P1 spot for some time. When Sihle eventually overtook you, did you have a bit of a moment on the curbs there? Or what happened there for them to overtake you from the race lead?
Yeah, Sihle just gave me like the perfect amount of space, right? So I hit the curb just a bit, but still, my exit was going to be too slow. He perfectly positioned the car perfectly, and he was going to pass me either way.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And of course, the man currently in the 3rd and final podium spot. It's the Alfa Romeo Loveness Tato. Congratulations. How does that feel? That was some beautiful racing from you. You were battling, I think, Zotal at some point and Brown Boy. Take us through that race. Congratulations, Loveness. Yo, Loveness, can you hear us?
No, he's too
network
emotional.
Error.
He's too crying. So
Yeah,
let's just give him some time,
Tindo, do you have any questions?
Loveness ubhizi kunamagwinya Loveness akafuna lapho sicela ukhuluma nawe Loveness akucela.
But his hands are dead and his voice is gone from shouting. No, I have nothing much to say, like it was a good race, Congratulations to Sihle again, Sihle, awukahle mfethu. And to Melusi, Melissa, are you back in Durban now, or you still that side? It looks like the Zulu nation is actually welcoming you well, Jay. It was actually a good race from you, Melusi. You were my driver of the day as well. And like starting from P11, to P2, that's actually something else. At some point, you were leading the race. I guess Lenduza, what's his name? Sihle is just too much for any of us. I think he needs a jungle. And but yeah, no. Other than that, no, it was a good race. And let's share, guys. Let's share so that we have more viewers. We have so many contacts, but it's still same people all the time. So we need more people.
Absolutely, to see the fantastic quality of racing out here. Final question, Malusi the Malusi. Up next is Japan. Word around the paddock is you love it in Suzuka. Hopefully, if we see you out on track, the confidence levels for your performance there.
Oh no, definitely. It's one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, so I hope to put on a best performance of the season, man.
Beautiful stuff. And Sihle, man, watching you is absolutely sensational. The way you fight your way back from adversity, the way you put everybody under pressure. can't wait to see what you still have in the bag for the rest of the season. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Cikle, Malusi the Malusi, and Tato, aka Loveness. Unfortunately, for network issues, could not join us in this here commentary box. Well, he is here, but of course he's enjoying a couple of complimentary guinas here, and of course he's got some
power.
Thank you, everybody. Let's catch up with the last couple of comment section. Good night, Teeny. Thank you for joining us in the comments. And Brown Boy was saying that fastest lap is a scam, Cikle. Beautiful stuff. 114.5. Malusi the Malusi voted driver of the day for that sensational drive from the back of the pack. And absolutely beautiful stuff. We will see you for Tier 2 and Tier 3 on Monday. They are racing in Japan. Thank you very much. And good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, gents.